Chelsea versus Arsenal is a 5:30 kickoff. Chelsea 3.2, the draw is 3.4. Arsenal 2.26. I've got Neil Mellor and Paul Robinson with us. And start with Paul on this one. London derby. It's one of those games which kind of signals where football is in the capital, doesn't it, Paul? And at the minute, it's very much with Arsenal.
No, Tottenham are not playing. You can take that back. the team that are sat top of the league are not playing,
on
so
Monday.
it doesn't define.
No one cares about them
it
on
doesn't
Monday.
define the capital whatsoever. No, the team that are top of the league in North London are not playing, so it doesn't define the capital. But listen, there's two teams in very different places at the moment. Chelsea seem to have made a slight resurgence at the moment. Listen, on the grander scale of things, from the outside looking in at Chelsea, I can see what's going on. The young players, the manager needs time. He's got a young squad there. He's got a lot of players that are injured. Nicholas Jackson started scoring goals. Seen Chelsea a couple of times this year. They've played well in games without putting 90, 95 minutes together. They have done recently. But then you look at that and you think, okay, who have they beaten? You know, the sides that they've beaten. Yes, they've beaten Burnley. I think was it Sheffield United, I think off the top of my head, that they beat. Games where you'd expect them to win. And you'd expect them to win well. Are they there yet? No, I don't think they've turned the corner just yet. I think there's still a lot of work to do. But the side that Pochettino's putting together and the squad he's putting together, from a Chelsea fan's point of view, yes, there's a lot of people that have looked in and they've ridiculed and they've laughed at them because of the amount of money they've spent, over $1 billion, whatever it is that the owners spent. But in the long term, I think in 12, 18 months' time, we're going to be talking about a completely different Chelsea. And I can see those building blocks now and I can see those wheels in motion. Are they the finished article now? No, they're not. They're far, far from it. And they're playing against an Arsenal team who are title contenders for me, the way that Manchester City have slipped up recently of late. In all honesty, if Arsenal had a 20-25 goal a season striker, they would probably, in my eyes, be right up there with City. Jesus is not going to score you 20-25, neither is Nketiah. I think that's the only position where they're glaringly, obviously light, and they're lacking goals from a goal scorer. And I think they'll be too strong for Chelsea this weekend to do. Yes, they've turned the corner, but they're not quite there yet, Chelsea.
Yeah, we've mentioned, Neil, that Arsenal, were missing a forward. Possibly Tony might go there. Arsenal might think of getting Ivan Toney on that one. But Chelsea have got a forward, but he's been injured. They signed him in the summer, and Kunku, and he's still not there. They're still missing their man up front as well, aren't they?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm looking at the odds there. I think if this game came before the international break, you'd say all over Arsenal. Great odds away there. I just think that international break may have disrupted really good momentum for Arsenal. They just beaten Man City in a really good run of form. They've won. Well, they haven't conceded a goal away from home so far this season. And Chelsea picked up a few good results. See what Paul's saying in terms of the teams they've beaten. You know, cup game, beating Fulham away, beating Burnley as well. But I just think Chelsea have got a chance in this game. Yes, the more appealing odds is the Arsenal away rather than Chelsea at home. But I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea got themselves a draw. And that would be seen as a good draw. All of a sudden, it's building this season. Paul mentioned it. I think Chelsea will be better next season. But if they can get a point against Arsenal, I think that will give them a big lift. There's talk about Reece James coming back into the lineup. He's missed a couple of games. I still think they're a little bit light in the final third for goals. They've brought in Palmer from City. Sterling's been playing very well. Brower led the line last game. Jackson came off the bench at half-time. So there's players who can make the difference in this sort of game. But I think Arsenal concede the first goal this season away and Chelsea get a point. Both teams to score.
It is remarkable, isn't it, Paul, that Arsenal still haven't conceded away from home. They've had a decent run of fixtures, and they quite like going to Stamford Bridge these days.
Well, that's one thing that Mikel Arteta's done. He's shored them up away from home. He's stopped them conceding silly goals. A lot of the goals that Arsenal conceded was because of their own mistakes, or they contributed to their own downfall, if you like. But I think that's one thing that they have eradicated from their game is conceding soft goals away from home. They're tough to beat. They're resilient. Saw them at Everton. They dominated possession. They didn't have a load of chances, but the Everton never looked like scoring against them. And that's one solid base that he's given them. And going to Stamford Bridge, it'll be a good asset for them. I think it'll be a big ask for Chelsea, because of all the reasons we said about where they are. And Neil's quite right. If Chelsea get a point, it's a good result for them, which shows exactly where these two sides are at the moment. The sensible money for me goes on Arsenal.
Question for you.
You've got a question. Go on.
Last time Chelsea beat Arsenal at home in the Premier League was 2018, 3-2. Your goal scorers were Pedro, Morata and Alonso. Who was the manager for Chelsea in his first home game in charge, 2018? He was Chelsea's boss. This was the last time they beat Arsenal at home in the Premier League, 2018. So we're going back 5 years. It was his first game in charge at home in the Premier League. It was the Chelsea manager. I know they've gone through a few. Come on, give me a name.
4. Conte.
That's before Conte.
5 years ago.
Yeah, Conte only lasted it. It's too early for Frank, isn't it? Not Frank.
Yeah, too early, isn't it? Surely it's too early.
Is it Frank? No.
No, I'll give you a clue.
Is it Jose again?
No, Italian.
Sarri.
Yes.
There you go.
Sarri was the manager for Chelsea the last time they beat Arsenal at home in the Premier League a long time ago.
He's still managing in Italy now, isn't he? That is Chelsea versus Arsenal. We think Arsenal win this. They probably will concede their first goal of the season, or will they? Arsenal going great guns, I was about to say there, but that would be a terrible cliche.